Hello. Okay, so a few things before I get started. I'm just going to show you a quite basic makeover, but I'm going to give you as many tips and tricks as I possibly can as well, because I don't know, I haven't done one of these makeovers for ages, so I thought I might as well just come on and show you everything. Another thing is, excuse my finger, I literally ripped my nail all the way off, completely and utterly all the way off, so that is so gross, so you don't want to look at that, so I've just covered that with a plaster. The rest of my nails are manky as, so just concentrate on what I'm teaching you, don't worry about my fingernails. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to straighten my camera up actually. To start with, I actually won't be able to see comments, I don't think, because I've streamed this in a different way and all through the different groups, so if you have questions that you want answered with regard to makeup or anything to do with you specifically, just put them below and I will get back to you anyway. So first of all, like the most important thing is to be hydrated, for your skin to be hydrated. That's going to give you your best I guess the best chance for your foundation to sit nicely on your face is if you've got really nice hydrated skin. I've already done my moisturiser, and like I've done some serums and some moisturisers and things, and my skin's quite moisturised. But look, in the very least, I would suggest something like oil drops. So these are the Wild Melon Wonder Oil drops, and they're just beautiful because there's sort of like 8 oils in one little bottle, so they're amazing. And one of the oils in there actually happens to be the Nutrich oil, which I absolutely love, as you know. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is the Nutrich Instant Radiance Beauty Balm. So this actually is nourishing on your skin, but this particular product actually acts like a primer. So having a primer on your skin just helps your foundation to sit nicely. This is going to be so annoying, I know, but oh well. It's better than seeing my manky stub of a finger. I don't know how long it's going to take to grow that thing out, but oh man, it's not very nice to look at, that's for real. I'm going to go get some vitamins from Chemist Warehouse, I think, and see if I can get it growing out a bit quicker. But wow, I'm a bit rough though, I really am. I'm a bit blokey, so I'm pretty rough with my nails. Okay, so I'm just putting that on and faff talking at the same time, because you've literally got to, you don't rub that one in, so that's the Instant Radiance Beauty Balm. So you don't rub it in, you just pat it in. Okay, and pat it in until it feels like kind of tacky. Like it's just got a kind of a slightly tacky feel. You don't need tons of it, but what that will do is just set the foundation for your foundation. And it just makes your foundation sit nicely, and this particular one is good because it also gives your foundation a really dewy look, and I think that's a really nice look as you get older. Having a more dewy foundation is much nicer. So this is my favourite foundation. Most of you who know my makeup preferences know that my favourite is the Flawless Air Serum, and I love this because you got to give it a good shake, because it's got a serum in it, so it nourishes your skin at the same time as you're wearing it. But the reason why I love it is because it really does go on looking like skin. You really only need a drop or two. I'm just going to put a drop on my hand here, and you can see it's quite liquid. And even though it's really thin, quite a thin makeup, it really does give you a really good coverage. Right, so the other thing is, I've just knocked this one over. Okay, so the other thing is that as you're going changing seasons, or as you're going out of warmer seasons into colder seasons, or colder into warmer, your skin changes either from light to dark or dark to light. And so I always suggest that, always suggest to my girls that they have a couple of colours of foundation. So I've used Camel, which is my colour in the Flawless, and normally that's my colour, and then I'm just going to do a tiny little dot of the cream. So I don't want too much cream, so I'm putting the cream alongside of my Camel so that I can actually blend the colour. So I'll just put a little dot of the cream into my Camel and just give that a little whirl around, and then just just keep going until you find the match for your skin. You really just want to look at your chest colour really, because if you look at your face colour, my face is whiter than my chest, and if I go and put my face skin colour on my face is going to look like a mask. It's going to look separate from my neck. So you actually want to have a colour that matches up better to your neck colour rather than your chest colour rather than your face colour. So I'm going to put this on and you're going to see how skin-like this is, but also the coverage. So I'll show you, first of all, you can see all of my flaws and the darkness around my eyes and the broken capillaries and all that sort of thing. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like, half a face of this foundation, what it looks like. And remember, it's going to be a bit browner on my skin because I want it to match up with my chest. So I'm going to show you what this looks like super quick, because you're going to be probably quite amazed. Even though this is really, really thin foundation, the coverage is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I've probably got whiskers I need plucking today too. I didn't even check that before I came on. That's marvellous, isn't it? That's the joy of being in this age group. You get to not know if you've got whiskers because you can't see them. Okay, so I'm just going to buff that in with my foundation brush, so hold the line please. I'm just going to use the new set of brushes. I'm going to try these out again. Okay, so I'm just going to buff this out because I just want you to see the difference. And that's the tiniest little bit of foundation too. I'll buff it out properly as well after I've put the other side on, but I just want to show you how skin-like that is. It's just so pretty. It's just like skin. And then look at the other side. Still all the veins and the broken capillaries and the spots and things. And then that tiny little bit of foundation. Quite amazing, eh? I think it's I just love it. I love it because, like I said, it looks like skin. To me, it's the closest look to skin that you can get, and as you get older, see the difference? As you get older, if you wear thicker makeup, I mean, it's very much a preference, but when you wear heavier makeup as you're getting older, it is going to pull into the cracks and the wrinkles and things, and if your skin is quite dry, if it's not hydrated, you're going to have more problems with your foundation sitting on top of your lines and your wrinkles and your crow's feet and all that sort of thing. So because this is such a fine foundation, really thin, you're going to find that it goes into those lines and it's not going to pull because it's so thin. It's not a thick foundation. Also, some of those thicker foundations that the girls use, ladies use thinking, it's going to cover all their flaws and their old age and all that sort of thing, those things like double wear foundation and all that sort of thing. While your coverage might be really good and you might be under the illusion that your skin looks such a lot younger, most people can see, I'm just going to put that extra down that white bit of my neck there. Oh. Most people can see that you're wearing a thick foundation, and so that's really not as attractive as the look of having quite nice dewy looking skin. And like at the end of the day, we are the age that we are, so our skin is not going to be perfect unless you're just one of those lucky people who either has English rose skin or happen to never ever be in the sun all their lives. I've been a sun baby my entire life. We used to lather ourselves in coconut oil and all sorts of crazy stuff, and so it can be expected to have skin issues or skin discoloration from doing things like that, but at our age we're pretty lucky to have perfect skin. So I love this foundation because it really does give you quite a flawless look. I'm just getting the foundation out of my eyebrows so it doesn't look ginger when I go and put a brow pencil through there. I'll take it out and then I'll just kind of clean up that area so it blends back out again, but there's quite a lot of makeup that comes off your brows, so if you leave it there it'll just make you look like you've got white. People will be able to see foundation in your eyebrows and that's yucky. Can I just take a little bit off around my hairline as well, because you don't want to look gingery in the hairline either. So then I'm just going to blend this out with my finger. So what I just took off my brows and a little bit of the foundation colour. I'm just getting a towel, hold on. The little bit of foundation colour I took off my brows, I want to make sure that that's not taken all the foundation off around my skin either, as well. Oh my gosh. Okay, alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, this is an option, you don't have to do this, but I've got the Velvet Mineral Finish Powder. So this can be used as just a foundation by itself, or it can be used as a like a setting powder. So I'm just going to show you because I've got foundation on already and I really like the look of this dewy foundation, but some people just want a little bit more coverage. I want to show you that having more coverage can actually be okay as long as it's applied right. So these little Velvet Mineral Finish Powders, they are like a full foundation, but if you use them lightly, you can use them for a powder, a dusting powder, setting powder. So you can either use the foundation pad, which will give you a thicker coverage, or you could just use a brush. So normally my colour is sand, but as I'm, my neckline's still quite brown. So I've got sand here, and next colour up I've got, that's not maple, is it? That's nutmeg, that is not my colour, hold on a second. Maple, right here. So I can either choose to be a little bit warmer or a little bit fairer, but I don't want to be too fair because I don't want to look too washed out. I'm going to put sand on top of my eyelids and I'm just going to dust a little bit on. And all that does is really just set your makeup, and it's not really thick, it's not really heavy, it hasn't pulled into lines or anything like that, so it's not a really heavy foundation. It can be used as a setting powder, it can be used to just warm up your whole look of your face. If I go a little bit darker now, I could just go and put that on the sides of my face. And you're not going to see too much difference in colour, but it just warms the look up a little bit. You can see it's warmed it up a little bit, eh? And then just go down your neckline a little bit. And remember, we're using the big fluffy brush, so it's not going to really press, like compact that colour, that foundation on. Waffling a little bit today, sorry guys. But you can see, even though I've got a double coverage on now, it's still really skin-like. It's still really dewy looking because it's the Velvet Mineral Foundation. Has also got some kind of dewiness to it. It just looks really pretty, and it's not a heavy, thick foundation. So you could use foundation by itself, or you can use the powder by itself, or you can use it for a setting powder, or you could just ditch it and not use it at all. But the thing is, having a bit of a setting powder wherever you're going to be putting other colours that need blending is recommended, because it's quite hard to blend colours that, it's quite hard to blend, what am I trying to say? It's hard to blend like eyeshadow colours if you have kind of a moist kind of eyelid. So if your eyelid's got too much moisture in it, it's going to be hard to blend out the colour. So having a little bit of a dusting powder on is a good idea. Right, so I'm going to use two palettes today. I'm going to show you both the palettes I'm using. So first of all, I've got the Beauty, what's this one called? Blush and Highlighter palette. This is my favourite palette. This is actually a new one because this is mine. Oh, mine's wasted. I I love this palette so much that I just showed you the new one, but I'm going to use my old one. I just love this palette so much, it's my daily. So while we're still doing our like the foundation of our makeup, I'm going to show you how to do that. So first of all, this is the these are blush and highlight palettes. So this isn't actually a contour color, this is actually a blush, but because it's just a nice warm brown, I've been using it as a contour and it works really well. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So it used to be, I showed you guys, it used to be that you would suck your cheeks in, and that's where you would put your contour, because you wanted your cheeks to be sunken in looking there, because everything that's contoured makes it look like it's deeper. So dark retracts and light brings out. So the dark colours, the contour colours, make things look more retracted. So that kind of makes your cheekbones look more sunken in, and therefore the theory is that it will make your cheeks look fuller and pop more. But now the fashion has changed so that the contour goes up higher. So now we're starting up higher and our cheekbones are looking right up here. And I don't know, fashions change all the time in makeup. So just do what you think looks right on you. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that brown. I'm using my blush brush, but I'm just squeezing it together so it's going to make the right shape. So I'm going to go up high-ish and just go sweep it down in this direction, and then I'm going to use a little bit more colour, tap it off, and do the same on the other side. Again, remember, this is makeup, it's not plastic surgery. You can't really get it wrong. If it looks wrong to you, take it off, start again, whatever, doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. It's just makeup, it's fun. It's just to give you a fresher look. I'm going to go and do my forehead, because my forehead's quite, I always say like I've got a 5 head. I'm one of those ones who've got a nice lot space of forehead, so I bring that down just a little bit with some contour powder, and then I just do my jawline a little bit as well, because I got my dad's nice strong jaw, so lucky. But yeah, just don't want to make that look as aggressive, so I just take that away a little bit with some contour powder, and you can take that right the way around. So all you're looking for really is symmetry, and industry standards is like an oval face is like the kind of industry standard face, but at the end of the day who cares about that? Just put the contour powder where you want to sort of detract from anything. It's like, so if your nose is too long, a little bit of brown at the end of your nose can make it look shorter, but we'll talk about that again later, because I don't want you just putting a blob of brown at the end of your nose. And so just blending that all out. You've got the colour on there now, you've got the placement, so then you just want to make sure it's blended all the way out, so you're breaking up any harsh makeup lines. So you're wanting it to look more like kind of illusion rather than any, obvious lines. So you can never really blend too much. Blending is the difference between an average makeup and a lovely makeup. So just blend away, blend away. Okay, so in this brush range, we don't actually have a separate brush for highlighter and blusher, so I'm just going to dust off that contour a little bit so we don't go and double up on colours. Then I'm going to use my highlight, and I'm just going to go right on my highest point. So cheekbones, highest point of your cheekbones, forehead, wherever the moonlight would drop down over your face, that's where you want to put a little bit of highlighter, and not too much. You don't want a big sweep of highlighter that's going to make you look like you're going to a drag show. You just want it to be a dusting, unless you want to look like that, and that's up to you. Again, makeup is very much a preference, but I just think minimal is very pretty. So little tiny dusting of that, and you can just see just a tiny glow. And the thing is, in this age group, we don't want to have highlighters sitting over top of really big cracks in our faces. So I'm going to put a tiny little bit of this highlighter also in that part of my forehead. If your forehead isn't like quite high, you would put your highlighter up the top, because that's where the moonlight would hit your face. But the thing is that I've already put a contour colour here to kind of retract that high forehead look. So therefore I don't want to go and contradict it by putting a highlighter where I've tried to minimise the look of a high forehead. So just see that tiny little bit of highlighter there, just a pretty little amount, and then just blend that out. And you know, like, I quite like the little dot on the end of the nose of highlighter. I do have a longish nose, but I still like the look of that at the end of my nose. I'm going to just show you a little bit, because it just looks all pretty and glowy, and it, I don't know, it just gives you this kind of fresh look. I like it. I like that look. So again, it's your makeup, it's your face, do whatever you like. Don't, you know, first learn all the rules and then break them is what I reckon. To suit yourself, Okay, so I'm just going to put also a little tiny weeny little bit of highlighter. So this flat brush, I'm going to put a little bit of that highlighter. So I'm just going backwards and forwards like this, tapping it. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of that in the highest point of my very bushy eyebrows that need sorting out. I should have plucked them before I came and did this today, but I can't be bothered. Right, so tiny little bit of highlight there, and you shouldn't even be able to really, like, you know, it shouldn't be obnoxious, or it should just be a little bit glowy. It just gives a little bit of focus, makes it look a bit higher in your brow area. Right, so now blush is what I would call very much a personal choice. So I am not really big into the really bright pinks. If you put a tiny little bit of the pink on, it's not so bad. You can brush it all the way out and that can look really lovely. But I'm still not really into the whole really bright blusher. So I'm just going to see if I can find. So I quite like these little cream, on the go cream cheek thingies. Don't even know what to call it. And I'm just going to use, because I can't find my big pencil sharpener, so I've got like literally, it's not sharpened, so I just try and find a brush. I just try and find a brush that I can dip in there so I can get a little bit of colour out. I'll bring it over here, and one of these days I'm going to actually find one of these days I'm actually going to find a pencil sharpener and sharpen it properly, but you're going to laugh. Hold on. I just dipped the end of one of my eye pencils in there. Okay, so I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of this on my cheek, right in the middle of my apples of my cheeks. So, and I just like this vintagey pink colour better than bright pinks. Just to me, I just think that suits me better. And then you just sort of take it right back up into towards your hairline, and that just gives you a look of being slightly flushed without making it look like you've been slapped in the face. You don't want to look like that at all. Right, so okay, I'm going to do some eye contouring, I suppose. Oh, maybe I'll do my brows first. I'll quickly do those. Okay, so again, when you're transitioning from one season to the next, you always go darker or lighter. So I actually now have two eye pencils. So I've got my ash blonde, which has just run out, so I can't even show you what that looks like. I have my ash blonde and I have my natural. So my natural is my darker colour, so I would go with my darker colour, I would go on the I can't even really see what I'm doing because I'm looking into the mirror behind me, but I would just go really lightly on the outside of my brow, just really lightly, and you just want to fill in any sparse bits of your brow. And I always start on the outside because it's darker, so you don't want to come in too thick and aggressively with a dark pencil on the inner part of your eyebrow, because you're going to risk looking like something off the Muppet Show. So I'm just going to, I'm doing this straight into my phone now, which is actually very awkward to do. Yeah. Okay, so I just do the ends of my brows with that dark colour. And then I really do need my eyebrows plucked. Oh my gosh, they're so tragic. They are tragic. I'll see if I've got another lemon eyebrow pencils on there, because it actually is good to show you. A big box full of things here. It is good to show you what it looks like having a lighter colour in the front of your brow, but I don't have one, so I can't find it. So what I'll do is I'll just go really, really lightly through the front of my brow, just in those bits that are a little bit sparse, just so lightly, because I don't want it to be too dark there, because you'll see how sort of fierce it can make your brows look if they're too dark, and it's quite aging having really dark brows. So I'm using the spoolie on the end of this to just brush these all the way up. And again, brows that are kind of going uphill, like going up, you've got your nice little peak, they're just going to cause your face to look, I guess, more awake. That's so you lose muscle tone in your forehead as you age. I've actually got a really unwrinkled forehead. I've been accused of Botox so many times, but I just have an unwrinkled forehead. Like I can make a wrinkle, but I just have an unlined forehead for whatever reason. But what happens is, as you get older, you can lose the muscle tone in that forehead, so it can drop and then your brows look like that. And if your brows are looking heavy, it's making the skin on the top of your eyes look more sunken in, and it's just like everything's drooping. So getting a nice eyebrow shape is really, really, really worthwhile, because it just creates a look that your eyes are more awake. Right, now I am going to use, so this is an eye palette right here, and this is my blush and highlight palette. So I want a transition colour, and that is the colour that I'm going to put on between anything that I put on my lid and anything that goes up around my brow. So my transition colour goes over top of my eye socket bone there. And if you've got quite hooded eyes, you probably want that colour to be up slightly higher, because we're trying to create an illusion that your eyes are a bit more uplifted. So out of all of these colours, I actually feel like they're probably all a bit too dark for what I want to do. So I'm actually going to use, for my transition colour, I'm actually going to use it's actually a blush, but I use for contour. I'm going to use that for my transition colour too, and I'm going to use my blending brush. So just dusting on a bit of that colour. Dust a little bit of that off. So I'm going to put that over sort of on my eye socket bone and up slightly higher, and I'm going to go backwards and forwards a little bit more. I need a little bit more of that colour actually. And I'm going to go backwards and forwards and round and round. So you're going in small little circles, but backwards and forwards over the rainbow as well. And that's just going to break up that colour on your eye. You want to take it up kind of about maybe to there. I'm going to do the other side as well. I sort of go backwards and forwards between each side, just so I can sort of look at it and make sure I've got symmetry. And just use as much colour as you feel like looks balanced on each side. So again, round and round in circles, backwards and forwards. And remember, just lucid hand movements, just relaxed wrist, backwards and forwards. If you use a loose wrist, like drummers have really loose wrists, so they can just sort of like, you know, that's how you effectively play the drums. And if you have a loose wrist while you're doing your eye makeup, then that's actually going to help to blend your makeup really well. If you've got a really clenched fist and wrist, then it's not going to break up as easily. So I'm just going to do that transition colour. And again, this is a colour that's not supposed to be like really noticeable. It's just kind of like your in-between colour that gives you a little bit more dimension to your eye colour that you're doing. And then it's not supposed to be very obnoxious, and it's not supposed to be so dark that if you kind of get it wrong, it's like, what the heck, that girl looks like she's been slapped in the face, you know. It's just, you don't want that look. Okay, so now I'm going to go with a slightly darker colour. I might actually, now this is actually a shimmer colour, but I want a brown, so I'm going to go, let me just test that first, because I don't want to use it if it looks wrong. Actually, I won't use that one. I might use the darker beige one there. So what I'm going to do now is what I want to do is create a crease. So my natural crease is where my eyes are kind of sunken in here. That's my natural crease. But as you get older and your eyelid area gets hooded or it droops, you're going to often have that kind of baggy, saggy skin that kind of flops down over your eyelid. And what we want to do is we want to create the look of more space on your eyelid. So to do that, we're going to create a fake crease. So if you've already got quite a lot of heavy fat over this part of your eyelid, you literally are just going to look at yourself straight on. Don't shut your eyes or anything. Like, don't shut one eye and do it and then shut the other. Like, look straight on at yourself and look at where you think your crease would be. So if it's here, you're going to put it straight over top of the fat. And I know you're like, oh, that's going to look really dreadful or whatever, but it actually works out really well. You put the colour on first and then you blend it all the way out. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Excuse me. I'm going to start coughing now. Okay, so I'm just using, it's not really too much of a darker colour, but it's darker than this transition colour. So I'm going to go up slightly higher than my natural crease. If this doesn't look dark enough, I might actually use a darker colour because I want to be able to show you this, how to do this properly. In fact, I might use, hold on a sec, I might use another contour powder to do this, just so you can see the darkness of the colour. So I'm going to go do a little V on the outside of the eye there. Even that colour's not showing up really well. I think I need a darker colour, but I don't want this whole look to be very obnoxious, so I'm just doing like a V here. See? V. Like this. So I'm just creating where your crease is, my crease is a bit lower than that, but I'm just creating a fake crease, so it looks like my crease is up slightly higher. So once you've created that fake crease, you're literally going to blend it all the way out. And people won't know exactly what they're looking at, but it'll just cause your eyes to look slightly more awake. And the other trick with eye makeup is you don't want it flopping over the side of your eye down there, because when your eye makeup is dropping downhill, it's causing your whole eye look to go, and like as our eyes are drooping as we age, we want them to look smiley and awake. So if we can keep all the eyeshadow colours, if we can keep those colours in this area, which is why some people put sellotape up the side of their eye there, because they just want to have that nice clean look right there, but this is fine. I'm just going to use another brush just to break that up slightly. This one's just not breaking up quite as well. But yeah, you can never do too much blending, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be there all day long. It's always going to take longer when I'm demonstrating a look to you. It doesn't have to take this long. This is just all the steps and the tricks. But you can never do too much blending, in terms of the more you blend, the better the makeup's going to look, period. Right, so I'm going to now use, I'm just going to use the pretty little pink shimmer, because I've got pink on today, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to, you could actually just go with a nude lid if you like the look of that, because nude, the thing is, you always want your colours to be, if you've got like sort of sunken in eyes or small eyes, you want your colours to be lighter. If your eyelid space is quite sparse, if it looks like it's disappearing, you want that colour to be lighter. Anything dark you put on your eyes is going to cause your eyes to look kind of closed in. So you never want to put dark colours right into the inset of your eyes. You always want, if you've got wearing dark colours, you want those to be going towards the outside of your eyes, because the darkness will elongate your eyes and make them look more wide apart and wide awake, and the light will cause them to look nice and bright and open on the inside of your eye. So that's the philosophy. Dark on the outsides, lighter on the insides, and anything that you want to look more awake, you go with lighter colours. So I'm going to go with that pink. Not everyone's into shimmer, but I like a little bit of fun shimmer. And this is a nice one because you can put, it's not really horrifically, like I keep saying, obnoxious, but it's still shimmery. Now I probably could have gone with a gold, and that might have even looked nicer along with the brownish kind of contour, but I also want to show you how much eyelid space it creates when you've got a darker colour up here and a lighter colour on your lid. It just sort of creates the look of way more eyelid space, which is definitely what we want to go for as we get older. We want more eyelid space. Okay, so now I'm going to use my little angle brush here, and I'm going to actually use, so there is a little trick to eye makeup as you get older, and that is to, well, because for a start we can get quite, our eyes can get a little bit more sort of closed up looking, they can get a bit droopy, you lose your eyelid space like I was saying, so when you go to put eyeliner on, it's actually taking up some more extra space on your eyelid. So if you don't want to take up extra space on your eyelid, a good thing to do is to put your eyeliner on your waterline. I'm just looking for my eyeliner right now, and knowing my luck, I just haven't even put it there, so let's just see if I've got one. This one will do. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to put, I'm just putting a little bit on my hand first to make sure it's going to go on okay. Right, so what you want to do is you want to lift your eyelid up a little bit from your lashes, and then just go along that waterline as much as you can cope with, really. It's a bit tricky to begin with, it can be a little bit, but it does two things. It takes up the nude colour on the inside of your waterline, so it actually instantly causes your lashes to look more densely together, and it also makes it so that you're not using up space on your actual eyelid. So I'm going to do that on the other eye as well. It's not the most comfortable thing to do, it does take getting used to. Okay, so that eye as well. So now that, you can just leave it there and then put your mascara on like now if you like, but I quite like having a, now I'm going to try and find my angle brush, I quite like having a darker, like an eyeshadow colour on the top of my eyeline, because you can get that as close to your lash line as possible, and it does act like an eyeliner, but it's so close to your lash line, that it also doesn't take up a lot of space on your eyelid. So I'm just using a darker brown powder, so this is an eyeshadow powder, and I'm just using my angle brush, and I just tap off the excess so that I don't have too much dropping down at one time. And this is going to be really tricky because I'm doing this into the mirror behind me, which is quite a long way away. Which way am I doing it? Okay, and then you just want to go dab dab dab, sort of like just brush it along that top of that eye line, and this works two ways. So you can see it's given me an instant eyeliner, and it hasn't taken up a lot of space on my eyelid. So I'm going to do the same. The side. So the two things that are good about this is that it creates an eye line, but it also is a powder, which means that it's not going to actually cause drop down during the day. Whereas some eyeliners, especially if they're not waterproof, are going to, if you've got like watery eyes or whatever, it's going to create a little bit of, oh, my brain, a little bit tired. It's going to cause your eyeliner to run. That's what I'm trying to say, so hard, eh? Blimmin' words are hard. Okay, now if you want to look a little bit more zhuzhied up, you can use the leftover of that bit of eyeliner. Just don't put on any more, just a tiny little bit of what's left on that brush, and you can put the end of that onto your, underneath your eye, and then just use, I'm just using that little flat end brush, and you can just blend that out, break that colour up. Breaking all of that colour up. And then you know, that's created an eyeliner without it being like a thick, heavy looking eyeliner, because thick and heavy is not the look that we're going for in this age group. In fact, I tend to say try and keep your eye colours above the eye, because it just keeps your eye looking more awake. But I just wanted to show you how to apply that look without it being you know, like too heavy. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my mascara. It's quite a good idea to curl your lashes, to keep your lashes up, and it's the same philosophy, it's just everything's going uphill, so it's looking all pretty. I'm just trying to think. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on. Now, this is the Extreme Volume Lash Mascara, which I very much like. I'm trying to find a little mirror so I can do it a little bit closer. Okay, so here we go. Right. Oh, actually, somebody did ask, how do you stop your mascara from smudging down your face? She tries every kind of mascara and just still has the whole thing of her mascara smudging down her face. And, you know, obviously the obvious thing would be have a waterproof mascara first of all, but also the only reason that a mascara will smudge is if it hits or touches moisture. So it won't actually smudge at all unless you've either wiped your eyes, hands on your eyes, like itched your eyes with your fingers, or rubbed your eyes, or whatever, or if you've got too much moisture going on. So therefore, if you're somebody who is using a waterproof mascara and still finding that it's smudging by the end of the day, you've got too much moisture in your brow area, in your eye socket bone area. And so a way to minimize that, or hopefully eliminate it actually, two things, is to always excuse me, always make sure that you powdered your eyelid area, which is what we did before I got started properly today. When I was doing the base, I powdered my eye area, and that just helps you to blend your eyeshadow makeup out, but it also dabs out the moisture. And you know, like I said, you can't excuse me, you can't blend your eye makeup as well if you've got moisture in your eyelid or in the eye socket area. So it's the same thing for mascara. If you've got any moisture in that area, it's going to cause your mascara to run if it touches the moisture. So yep, so a setting powder or some kind of powder on your eyelids before you put your mascara on. And also you could try, after you put your mascara on, you could try brushing your lashes out, because that's going to take away any extra blobs of mascara, and it's often those little extra blobs that don't dry properly and then they transfer down, or they're easy to get caught up in the moisture because they're not really dried onto your lashes properly. So those are my tips for that. Sorry, I am waffling just a little bit, aren't I? Okay, so if you want to create a little bit more space in your brow area, I like to go with a nude, kind of matte nude kind of powder, and I'm going to use the same flat brush that I just used. So I like to use a nude colour, and then I'll just swipe that on, and then you want to go up under your brow, and it just gives it a little bit more of a tidy look, and it gives you the look of kind of more space between that transition colour in your eye brow. So do that again on the other side, and again wherever you create the look of space, or you know, like that clean look, or creating a lot of space between your eye and your brow, it just is more youthful looking, because the biggest problem with aging is everything starts kind of drooping. So if you can create a look of a lot of space, that's just a little way to trick, you know, a little bit of illusion to trick the eye to make it look like you are slightly more youthful. Okay, now I have, this is my favourite palette ever, And it's such a pity because I think they're going out of stock. They are normally $65 and they're $10 now, so I'd say they're going on clearance soon. What is awesome about, and I have, obviously you can see I've used up all of my colour, but that's just because I'm being a bit lazy. You can actually mix these two colours to make whatever colour you need for your skin. But also this colour here, the peach, is very good if you're really quite dark underneath your eyes there. So using the peach, and the green is to counteract any red, excuse me. So if you've got red broken capillaries, or you've got a bit of rosacea, or you've got redness, just like pimples or anything like that, then the green on top of that is amazing. So you just put the green on, powder over it, and then put your normal foundation on. So then, I should have done this in the beginning actually, but this peach colour here, now if you just give yourself a tiny dab of that, I'm going to use my little mirror so I can do this really closely because this could go badly wrong. But this is really good if you've got quite dark circles under your eyes, which I often do. You just want to put a tiny bit of peach, and I mean just a tiny little bit. Again, I should have done this before I did anything else, because you really want to put your foundation over top of this if it looks too orange. But what that does is that instantly takes away any of that dark or the blueness around under your eye. And it is going to take a little bit of blend wet now because I put on a wee bit too much, but hold the line please. The good thing is that most people see these videos on replay, these live streams on replay, and so then they can just go skip ahead of things they don't want to see. But just dab that all out, and that's just going to cancel out any of the blue or grey underneath your eye area. And actually sometimes, like even now, when the area is really blue or really grey, you don't even really need to put a colour over top of it, because it just sort of, the cancellation of the colours just makes it look like quite natural and quite normal. The other thing is, a good one is using the whiter colour concealer. This is good if you want to put a little dab on the outside of your eye there, little dab on the outside. I know this is a little bit more of an intense tutorial, you might not use all of these steps, but it's just so you know what your options are. I just take that all the way up, so that's making this area look like you're smiling, it's going uphill, and then a little bit of white maybe into the inner corner here, because you actually do have a blue vein that runs into the inner corner of that eye there. So putting a little dot of concealer on there just makes it look really clean and awake. And then you can go back over that with your foundation, or even powder it down a little bit, and then see what it looks like after it's powdered down. So where's my powder gone? I might try that one. I'm sorry, I can't see comments, so I can't actually respond, but I will go back through the comments and just check and see what people have said. So I'm just going to use a little bit of setting powder under there, and that just instantly, so this is the Velvet Mineral powder, and it just instantly takes it back to the colour, my colour. Right, now you can, if you like, also have a little bit of mascara on the outside or bottom lashes, if that's your preference. I tend to keep my mascara above the eye. I sometimes just do the little corner lashes at the side, just depends how I feel. But if you're a little bit tired, or your eyes are a little bit tired looking and a bit sad looking, whatever, it's better to keep your mascara just on your top lashes by themselves, because I'm just trying to look for my brush while I'm talking to you, trying to multitask, because yeah, it just looks more awake really, and if you have your mascara down on your bottom lashes, it kind of can drag your whole eye area down. So it's totally up to you. Again, like I always say, this is makeup, not plastic surgery. Right, now what I love about these little palettes is that you can choose, you can go through all the colours until you find the one you like. So I might just start with this lighter pink and see what that looks like. Seeing as I'm wearing pink. That's alright, don't mind that. And I am a really bright colour girl, like I like colours that look more bright and funky, but each to their own, and that's what I love about this little palette. You've got all of the options, all of the colours. So if you're more into like a velvety purple, whatever, that looks pretty cool as well. I quite like that colour on, but just not today. Cool. Okay, well, so that was pretty much it. And if you want your makeup to stay looking fresh and nice for the whole day, excuse me, another trick is just a little bit of setting spray. I've got plenty more tricks where it comes to eye makeup and different looks, and also you know, how to keep your lipstick on or how to stop it bleeding into the cracks and all that sort of thing. So those are the kinds of different tutorials that I would do. Obviously this was just how to do like a pretty makeup for our kind of eyes and this kind of age group, and just how to do a nice basic base. So if you've got the base done nicely, you can literally just slap on some mascara and some lipstick and not even worry about doing any blend work. It's totally up to you. But this is just giving you a few tips and tricks up your sleeve. So give it a go yourself. Let me know how you go. Let me know if you've got any questions, or if you know, if there's anything you're struggling with, or you want some personal help with anything, just let me know and we'll go over some stuff together. So I'm just going to give myself a little quick spray. Preferably do this before you've got mascara on, but I always forget. I always put my mascara on and forget to put my setting spray on. And so if you put your setting spray on last, you just risk the fact that you can have moisture in your eyelashes, which is just what I was trying to tell you before, you don't want to do. So put that on before you put your mascara on, preferably. And this is a beautiful, beautiful setting spray, and that when it actually sets, you can see already that it sets in a kind of a nice dewy look. So no matter what your foundation is that you're wearing, this will set your foundation to give you a nice glow. And as you all know, I love the look of skin that looks fresh and glowy, and I think that looks far more youthful. So having, you know, a nice setting spray that's got a little bit of luminescent, luminous spheres in it, that just makes your whole makeup look much more fresh, in my opinion. So that's me. Hopefully that helped somebody out there, and or else, if nothing else, gave you a bit of an entertainment for the night. And I've been doing these DIY hairstyles on Instagram and actually really enjoying playing hair things with me and my girls. We've all got kind of the same hair, so we've been playing hair games, so that's kind of a fun look, eh?